We're going to discuss, we've got some great leading advertisers. These are some of the top affiliate programs in the entire industry. We're going to discuss kind of some of the effective attributes of their programs. So our panel, I'm going to have them introduce themselves when we get to the question and answer period. But I've got Darcy from Sears, Nicole Smith from American Express, and Chris Symons from Travelocity. There's a new method for questions this year. There's going to be plenty of time for audience questions. You're supposed to text them. I'm not quite sure how this is exactly supposed to work, so we're going to give it a shot. And I'm logged in to we're going to moderate them, but I'm logged in. But I've got plenty of questions, so when we get to the audience part, if we don't have enough questions, I've got some others, but we will definitely have an opportunity for audience questions. So I'm going to do a quick overview of affiliate marketing, do some panel introductions, and then some discussions. I've got the first few questions, and then we'll take it from the audience. Real quick, though, first about the audience. How many are affiliates or publishers? So just hand up really high. So about 40%. How about merchants or advertisers? About 60%, so nobody's left. Any networks? 2, 3, 4, 5, all right. Any agencies or consultants? All right, and what about vendors or service providers? All right, great. Any analysts? This is my favorite question because the analysts don't cover this industry, so they're obviously not here. And the same thing with the press or media. Any press or media? Yeah, real press or just a blogger?
Oh.
I mean in terms of mainstream press, or is it just you? What's that? Okay. So, also interested in how long people have been in the industry. Who's less than a year? Who are any newbies? Don't be shy. Put your hand up. So we got a bunch of people less than a year. How about 1 to 3 years? About the same number. What about 3 to 5? What about 5 or more? It's almost an even split. One of the reasons I asked that question is because it's really important for us as panelists to know kind of who's out there. Something that might seem really obvious to someone who's been in the industry for 5 years, that same question is not to somebody who's new. So don't worry about the questions you ask because everybody was new once. So a quick introduction. There's multiple business models for publishers. There's direct linking, there's niche sites and blogs, kind of coupons and deal sites, cashback or points. And there's 3 main types of actions. There's leads, like an application or a loan, or a credit card application. Actually, a credit card application would most likely go in the new customer part. There are some credit cards that pay on the lead, but it's mainly for things like insurance. But you get new customers. This is where you get an account or a subscription, a magazine, a newspaper, a credit card, or a sale. And this is where travel comes in or retail. So we've got a good representation for all the different forms of actions on the panel. And it's important to know, if you're an advertiser or a publisher, what the payment is going to be based on. So make sure to keep that in mind. If you ask any questions about your program, please let us know kind of where you fall in line. There's also 3 primary business relationship models between advertisers and publishers. There's in-house programs or private label websites. In this case, the merchant's responsible for the tracking. It's usually done with pixel tracking. Some of them are more sophisticated. Or sometimes the lead form is on the publisher's site. More common are affiliate networks and network aggregators, like CJ Linkshare and Google. There's also lead generation networks and many small affiliate networks. And then there's sub-affiliates and ad networks. It's kind of a third part. So publishers generally will work in all 3. Most in this industry, most who come to this conference fit right in the middle and work through the big affiliate networks. Affiliate is successful. It's a great channel. This is a slide Forrester recently shared at another conference. It was from the State of Retailing Online in 2009. It was a shop.org study. And it was basically the successful acquisition tactics. And search engine marketing is first. Now, most of the time that means organic, although organic traffic is second, and that usually is traffic that people don't know where it's coming from, because search, you often do know where it's coming from. And affiliate market was rated as the third most successful channel for those that were polled by shop.org. And I thought it was good to see. That's moving up a bit. It's getting a little bit more recognition than it has in the past. And it's important that studies like this, they help everybody who's running an affiliate program or an advertiser kind of make the case internally. But the other interesting thing is that it ranks the lowest to this is the ranking the lowest to highest in cost per order. So email is the most effective, and this is talking about a house list in this survey. And then comes SEO, and of course SEO, most of those costs don't get lumped in with the revenue. They get thrown in some overhead costs somewhere. But affiliate was third. Now most of the time this is thought of as good news. Wow, what a great channel, how effective it is. But it also points out that perhaps in some cases affiliates aren't getting paid their fair share, and that causes some friction in the channel as well. Affiliate is, according to the survey, more effective on a dollar spend basis than paid search, comparison shopping, or traditional portal deals. So that's a new study again from Forrester from the same shop.org study from 2009. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. If anybody ever has trouble selling their program internally, you can point to the fact that billions of dollars are being spent in affiliate marketing. Forrester estimates that in 2010 it'll be about $2.1 billion. And this is just US rates, and that's a 16% compound growth rate. So that's it for the introduction, just a little basis to get us on the same page. I'm going to do it real quick and let the panelists introduce themselves while their slide is up. So I'm moderating the panel. I've been involved in the internet since 1995. It's hard to believe it's been that long. I founded Vertiv in May 2003 and have been active in affiliate marketing since then. Quick plug for the Performance Marketing Association. Any Performance Marketing Association members here? I encourage everybody to join the Performance Marketing Association. It's a trade association designed to promote the effectiveness and quality of affiliate marketing and performance marketing. If you have any questions about it, please make sure to ask me afterward. We've got a booth in the trade show as well and the meat market. So get more involved in the industry and help the industry grow. Darcy is with Sears. Darcy, you want a quick introduction of yourself, or you want the slides to speak for themselves?
I can introduce myself. I am with Sears. I've been with Sears for almost 3 years. Prior to that, I came from Discover Financial Services, so I've been in the industry for about 5 years now. So that's basically who I am and where I've come from.
And the Sears program is a huge program. Sears is really doing well online, and the affiliate is contributing a lot to that growth that they're seeing online. We've got Nicole Smith from American Express.
Hello, so Nicole Smith from American Express. I've been in American Express for about 5 years now, and I've had a few different roles in our acquisition and our product management teams. I've worked in both the consumer business and the small business unit. Hello.
Great. And the credit card space is a very, very active space in the affiliate channel, and American Express is one of the leaders in that space. So glad to have Nicole here, kind of representing that customer acquisition side, not just percentage of sale. And then Chris?
Chris Symons. I'm with Travelocity. Been with the company for a little over 5 years. Work on the distribution side and oversee our branded affiliate program, and then also some of our in-house white label stuff as well.
Great. Thanks. Glad to have Chris here as well. So some questions for the panel. We're going to have, I'm going to start off by just a real simple, just general question. And we'll start with Chris on the end. Just some general comments on how kind of affiliate works in your company. I know you guys got both an in-house program and an affiliate network program. Any just overall kind of how it's set up and how it works within Travelocity?
Yeah, so as Steve said there, we have two types of programs. One's the in-house program, and we have a lot of white label partners out there. And then we have our branded affiliate program. Consists of product folks, tech folks. We have some business people as well, and also some sales and marketing people. And between all of that, we kind of get together and make sure that we're getting the appropriate deals and communicating that out to the affiliate networks and passing out to the publishers. The way it's structured internally, it's on the distribution side as opposed to the marketing side of the house.
So by distribution side, it's more on the, does that mean like the traffic side?
Yeah.
Great. And would you like to share some about your program as well?
Sure. So the way that it works at American Express, we have a little over 200 affiliates, and we work very closely with a third-party vendor who helps us manage our partners, our affiliate partners. We look to them to help us host our content, creative assets, copy, etc. They help us with our communications and also our compliance, which is very important to American Express given the current regulatory environment. They also help us with our tracking and our payments.
And what group are you in at American Express?
I'm in the digital marketing group, so specifically focused on external channels, being affiliate, search, and display media. And I work with both of our business units, our consumer and our small business units. Great.
And Darcy, can you share kind of how you're set up there at Sears?
Yeah, so the way our program is set up at Sears internally is we actually have several different programs. We have the Sears affiliate program, the Kmart program, the Great Indoors, and then we have Sears Outlets, and those are all managed on the Google platform. And then we have Sears Parts Direct, and they're actually managed on the Commission Junction platform. So we have a lot of different programs going on. And then we have a affiliate program manager for each program that we have present right now. So we have a lot of affiliate presence overall in the industry right now.
Now you mentioned that you guys are like a service provider to the different kind of units within Sears. Can you tell us a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, so for our structure right now at Sears, what we have going on is we actually act as more like an agency to our business units. So our business units are actually all the different categories at Sears and Kmart. So for instance, like appliances and tools and such like that. So we have to report back to them on a weekly basis how they're doing in the affiliate channel. So overall, everyone is highly interested in how the affiliate channel is performing, what we're doing, and what we are doing specifically for their unit. So how tools is doing, how appliances is doing, apparel. So I actually have to report back to 16 different business units on a weekly basis. So we are a very high demanding and high maintenance client for any agency or anybody that has to kind of deal with us. We kind of demand a lot.
Not sure what that noise. Sounds like you guys are very metrics driven. Is that across the country, company, or is that mainly just your group?
A lot of reporting. Just overall in general, our team alone. So our team, meaning we're part of e-commerce within Sears, and then my team is the web marketing team, and my team consists of search, natural search, data feeds, the affiliate program, the analytics team, and catalog, because catalog is now for Sears doing a lot of online catalogs. So the catalog team is now a part of our team just recently.
Great. So Chris, you mentioned the number of affiliates you had. If you can kind of re-share that number, and then kind of tell the folks how you manage such a large number. Do you categorize them? Are you still recruiting new affiliates? A little bit about that process.
Yeah, so we have quite a large number of affiliates, over 10,000. Obviously, we don't manage all 10,000 of them. We do kind of the whole 80-20 rule, I think. Top 100, top 200. And then inside of that, we break that up in different chunks of 25s. And then between those 25s is how we manage with the various teams that we have, both internally in our group, and then also with the network that we work with as well. And from there, we just kind of basically work with them, make sure that we get our message out as far as what it is that we're trying to sell, and in conjunction with the publisher, figure out what their needs are and see how we can make that work together.
And are you still recruiting new affiliates?
We are actively recruiting them.
And do you find new affiliates come in and all of a sudden they're kind of in that 20% that are your top ones, or is it hard to kind of get into that group?
We've had a couple of opportunities probably in the last 12 months where we have been able to find a couple of affiliates where they've been able to come in and really get into the top probably 20, top 20, top 30. Hasn't happened all the time, but it has happened a few times here in the last 12 months.
And Darcy, how many affiliates are in your We'll just stick with Sears.com, so you don't have to go through kind of all 5.
Thanks. So for Sears, I would say about roughly a little over 6,000.
And how do you break them out or categorize them?
We have 2 ways that we like to focus on them. The traditional way of, loyalty, search, we look at those monthly by a pie chart and see how they're changing, just seeing if there's a lot of, loyalty sites, loyalty category falling off and a lot of coupon, growing on a month-by-month basis. The second way is I do break them out into 3 different categories. Top being the head, the torso, and then the bottom, and focus on them that way.
The torso.
Torso, bottom, and head. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And Courtney, what about you? How do you guys organize them? Huh?
Nicole.
I'm sorry, Nicole.
I'm filling in for Courtney, actually. So we categorize our affiliates based on credit card aggregators, loyalty sites, coupon sites, and travel sites. The majority of our volume comes from credit card aggregators. And we are still actively recruiting new sites. We're looking to have targeted quality sites join our program.
Now, communication is an interesting thing. You mentioned you also work with an intermediary that provides some of the data and some of the, can you tell us a little bit about that and kind of how you communicate? Is it email, is it IM, is it phone, face-to-face, a little bit of everything?
It's a little bit of everything. Our vendor definitely helps us on a daily communication basis, mostly via email, if we're having any changes to our program. But with our top affiliates, we really do make the effort to have more face-to-face communications.
How many advertisers out there again? And how many of you have regular kind of phone calls with your top publishers? Any of them? I know at one point in the affiliate channel there was this assumption that it was all going to be online and all via email and through networks and nobody was going to talk to anybody because it was just such a metrics-driven industry. But what we've seen and what we've heard as the industry's grown, as the programs that are treating it more like a partnership and having regular calls, regular sit-downs, account reviews are really the ones that are standing out as being the most successful. And that goes for both the small companies and the large companies. On the panel here, we've got obviously 3 very, very large companies, but that happens with small programs as well. One of the interesting things I think American Express does, can you tell us a little bit about your affiliate day and kind of how that came about and how successful that is?
Sure. So we have an affiliate day where we host in our offices, our top affiliates come in. We do that twice a year. It's an entire day just giving appreciation to our affiliates, letting them know how much we appreciate doing business with them and letting them know of any upcoming changes to our strategies, if we've launched any new capabilities, if we're having any new products, etc.
And how long have you been doing that?
I think 5 years now.
Yeah.
I think about 5 years now.
And Darcy, tell us about communicating with your affiliates and if you've got any type of special things that you do for the top ones.
Yeah, so as far as communication goes, our preferred method is really email and phone calls. We probably have about 30 phone calls a month. I'm on the phone a lot. And, it's the phone calls are, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and quarterly calls. I don't just focus on the top publishers. There are, the torso affiliates, mid-tier, that I truly believe have the potential of being, possibly top affiliates that we focus on and try to make the optimization of moving them towards the top. I do, again, Sears is on the Google affiliate network, and I do actually have a recruiting and optimization account manager whose focus is, going out and helping me optimize, certain publishers and getting them to move from the middle to the top. So, there's a lot of help there with communication and, just that person's responsibilities are actually, a lot of help to me, since I am already on the phone so much and really helping drive a lot of our communications on a daily basis.
And Chris, what about you? You guys, did you ever talk to your affiliates?
We do, yeah. So we and as I think with the rest of the group here, definitely take a blended approach between email and phone calls. I would say probably within that top 100, we spend a lot of time on the phone with them between us, and then also with CJ, who's our affiliate network. And so we have a team, that we kind of, on our side that call through and talk to the various different publishers out there. Have either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly calls. Just depend upon where within that top 100 they're at. And then similar to what the rest of the panelists said, there are some out there that do have potential, and for those publishers that do have potential, we do try to maybe hopefully grow them one day to be one of those mid-tier to hopefully top publishers.
I'm going to take a switch here and talk about the things within the company, right? We as a channel can't get anything done without the support of the rest of the company. And in some companies, it's from the top down, and sometimes it's from the bottom up in terms of the support that the affiliate channel needs. We were talking a little bit as a group about the perception of the kind of the affiliate channel within the company. Darcy, you mentioned you guys get a lot of support from kind of the VP level at Sears. Can you tell us a little bit about that and some of the things you've done as a company to kind of educate some of the other business units on this channel and kind of how to use it effectively?
Yeah, so our VP of online, I don't know if anyone had a chance to see him speak at Internet Retailer. He was the keynote. His name's Imran Juma. He is really just really intelligent about the affiliate space. So it's really helpful because he's, high-level leadership. So when he goes into meetings, he's constantly pushing the affiliate channel. When someone's looking for an idea to push things online, he's like, you should really reach out to Darcy Grum. She does, she's the affiliate manager. You want to get a coupon code, maybe test this, test that. So that's really helpful for, me and my channel. Another thing is, about 3 months ago, we did an affiliate 101 educational, for our merchants, our buyers, and they all came in. It was mandatory. We had this come from leadership. It was mandatory that they had to come. Of course, everyone comes, and everyone comes with their laptops, right? They're like, yeah, I'm going to come and learn. Everyone has their laptops open. Everyone's heads down working. And one of the VPs actually stood up and said, before we start, everyone has to shut their laptops. This is a learning and educational thing. You all ask about, everyone bombards Darcy with 100 questions about placements and what the affiliate program is, and you're going to learn. Shut your laptops, and we're not starting until you start, you shut your laptops. And I was like, wow, this is great. So, Google actually came and led the whole thing and put the presentation together, and it was great to see the involvement of everybody come together. So, it's the whole perception of the affiliate channel is really positive at Sears.
That's great. And Nicole, what about at Amex? Am I allowed to say Amex, or do I have to say American Express?
You can say Amex. Just you, though.
Just me. What about it?
So I think it's had some different perceptions in the past few years. I think that, say, maybe 5 years ago, where we had several hundred sites, and it was really more of a volume play. The quality wasn't so good of our acquisitions. Then we scaled back. And now we're looking to re-enter the market in a more targeted way and make sure that we're on the right sites with the right offers, offering the right card products. So I think that perception is getting back into the swing of things where we're really internally focused on growing the channel and making it successful.
So the perception was somewhat the reality within your own company. It was that if the quality was low, because you guys are very, very metrics driven and tracking, the customers through and through. What happened to change that? I mean, aside from all the regulatory stuff that happened, was that the catalyst that got you to say, okay, let's focus on quality, or was it something internally?
Market forces and internally. We don't want to be on the wrong sites. We don't want to have sites that aren't working for us, but that we're not relevant on. So really scaling back and getting a more manageable number that can work harder for us.
And Chris, how is kind of the affiliate channel, and maybe it's comparing the affiliate channel to the white label channel within Travelocity. Kind of how is it perceived within Travelocity?
So we like to joke that there's this Chinese wall between the .com side, so the main Travelocity site, and then our distribution side. And there's a lot of crossover in there, but I still think similar to the other panelists here, over the last couple of years, we've had to do a lot of education internally. I think of the value of the distribution side of the business, both white label and on the branded side. And within the last 2 years, it's been quite amazing to see how internally people have started to learn more about what we're doing, with you guys and then with many other publishers that are out there. And today, Steve, I mean, we're at a point where it's a very positive spin on the affiliate network and stuff. So we're very, very pleased at, where we're at today.
So one of the questions becomes, is it positive within these companies because it's effective, or is it effective because it's positive, right? It's something to consider about your own program for the advertisers out there, and also for others in the industry, just to think about in terms of, there's occasionally discussion about the perception of the industry, but when a program is run well, and when you have supportive management, and a lot of that comes from understanding and knowledge within the organization, I think the perception in all three of these cases is very high within the organization. And I didn't just pick three companies to be on the panel that would answer the question that way. It was more like, well, let's find three really effective programs and then look at kind of similarities and differences with those programs. And I think this question really highlights how important just the kind of getting a positive impression of the channel is within the company, and these companies have all kind of come up with kind of unique ways to do that. One of the things that relates then back to ends up being money, right? For a program to be effective, there's a give and take, right? In some cases, as the Forrester research pointed out, affiliates aren't paid as well as some other channels. So I'm interested how that is within some of the companies here. So I guess I'll start with Darcy. You guys do a lot of offline. You do a lot of email. You do search. How do you figure out how much to pay affiliates, and how does that compare to kind of some of the other marketing methods that Sears.com uses?
So our team, like I mentioned before, has the analytics team on my team. So I have to work with the analytics team to do everything. If I want to do, a commission increase, I have to work with my analytics team to get a framework structured, make sure that it's completely set up accurately, the test and control are even, make sure that the test time frame is, for certain enough. I mean, it is completely, honestly, crazy what I have to go through now that that I have to work with the analytics team. And then at the end, if the affiliates pass the criteria at the end of the test, it's only then that I can award the increased commission. And even prior to working with the analytics team, I have to go to finance and actually get ask permission and make sure that that business unit, rather it be appliances or electronics, I'm not working outside of their margins, since every single of my 16 business units have different margins. So it's a lot of work.
And what about within American Express? How about you, Nicole?
So you have to be very good friends with our risk and our finance partners to really get anything done. But we're constantly working very closely, particularly with finance, to review the profitability of our cards, the performance of our cards, and to make sure that we're looking at it by card product, by business unit, by site. So wherever there is room to have some movement there, we'll do that. And we're constantly looking at the numbers.
And changing gears a little bit, but a similar question. Chris, are you guys working on a fixed budget? There's always talk in the channel about advertisers running out of money to pay their affiliates, which is an interesting concept if you think about it. But how does that work within Travelocity in terms of budgets and such?
Yeah, so we actually don't work on a fixed budget. We actually have a plan that we have to meet, and fortunately we've been able to always exceed that, and we just really work off of, there's really no fixed budget in there, and we do go through some of the practices that the other panelists here mentioned as well to make sure that it's profitable for both sides, but we really don't work on a fixed budget.
How about the advertisers in the audience? If you could show of hands again, and how many are have a fixed budget, either whether it's your own company or whether it's just completely variable? You can be honest. It's okay. fixed budgets, a couple. Everybody else, it's you're managing it based on how much you can afford to pay per transaction. So how many are kind of managing their affiliate program as the advertisers based on what you can afford for that per sale cost? Show of hands. So that's a, hopefully that's a reflection of where the industry's heading. Years and years ago, it was much more of budgets, and most interesting part about the budgets was when big retailers would run out of money, in the middle of November, right before Christmas. But fortunately, that's getting less and less, and hopefully, as an industry, we've started to think about it more as a cost of sale, which is really what it is, because it's a percent that's just coming out just when a sale happens. Sure, there's placement fees and there's other things that happen that might be fixed costs, but the actual commission that's paid to the affiliate is really only paid when a sale happens. So hopefully we're kind of moving more in that direction. So talking a little bit about these relationships, I'm curious kind of how we're referred to. I'm a publisher. We call ourselves a publisher. We're also referred to as affiliates, them, the people we pay money to, these crazy websites. Just quick, short answers. Kind of how do you refer to us kind of internally? Chris?
Want the honest answer about you guys?
No, we'll just talk about the channel in general.
Yeah, so we refer to everybody as publishers. So it's publishers on the branded side, but for our white label, we call them affiliates. Don't know why, but that's what we call them internally.
And how do you, aside from Travelocity, how do you refer to yourselves? Do you refer to yourselves as an advertiser or as
merchant?
As a merchant. Okay. And what about you, Nicole?
We refer internally as affiliates to our affiliate partners and ourselves as merchants.
The merchant, and then Darcy?
I think it's really intermingled, publisher or affiliates, and then we look at us as merchant.
As merchant. One of the things that I find interesting about that is that somehow the networks keep calling them advertisers, but the more this industry evolves, the less it's like advertising. It may have started that way once upon a time, but it really is turning more into a kind of a merchant and a publisher relationship, which is more of a partnership. In the years you guys have been in the space, have you seen a change, or is it, do you think of your publishers more as partners than perhaps you did a couple of years ago, or is it really just about the same? And how is that kind of within your companies? So Darcy, what about you?
We've definitely, over the past even 3 years, have really stepped up, really gaining more control over our relationships than really the agency having control. For instance, we just really, I would say, have taken back the relationship. For instance, we have taken all of the phone calls that we have, the weekly, bi-weekly phone calls, and we actually manage those now. Those are on like our calendars and etc. So we take our relationships very serious, and we want to be the ones, reaching out and contacting and going after them. And
what about you, Nicole?
I think some of our top affiliates we've been with for years and years, so we're looking to continue to deepen and grow that relationship.
Do you think of it as a partnership relationship?
Absolutely,
or is it
partnership.
A vendor?
Partnership.
And Chris?
Yeah, similar to the other two, it's definitely changed over the years. It was managed us with our network, and then the network to the publishers. And over the course of the last couple of years, we really got more involved. We're on all those calls. We have a lot of face-to-face meetings with many of those publishers, and
So before I open up to some questions, I've got one more, and then I've got some others, but hopefully we've got some good questions from the audience. Have you seen an increase in shoppers looking for coupons and deals? And do you think this will remain as the economy gets better, or kind of is the whole, everybody's looking for a deal or a coupon or an offer here to stay? Start with you, Chris.
So back when everything kind of started to fall off in 08, we definitely saw that. But I think over the course of probably the last 6 to 12 months, we've seen some stabilization of that. And it's more, I think, right now with promo codes and the coupon codes and all that, it's more about planting the idea from the customer, at least when it comes to our space and travel. And although the redemption side of it may not be as high, and I do think that we're seeing some we're being able to attribute other sales that are actually happening, but for some reason the customers just aren't redeeming them. So.
And Nicole, you can't really give a coupon or a discount, so we'll skip to Darcy on that one.
So we've actually seen this significantly with our business, especially with Kmart. Our business on the Kmart side has grown triple digits. In store, online, it's been substantially growing over the past couple years. And reason being, obviously, with Kmart business, we have the great value, but at lower cost. As far as the coupon question, I've done search also too. I'm responsible for part of our search business over the past couple years, and we've seen on the search business people searching for specifically, obviously, Kmart coupons, Sears coupons. Those particular keywords grow almost triple digits over the past 2 years.
So it's going to be an interesting one to watch as the economy evolves. So I'm going to take some questions from the audience. I want everybody to think in terms of what is the key to an effective affiliate program, right? Whether you're an affiliate and you want to ask the advertiser some questions, or whether you're another advertiser. So I'm going to try this text. I'm supposed to get it up here on my iPad, but if I don't, we'll shout out. Has anybody sent a question in via text message? All right, does anyone want to send them in via text message, or do you just want to shout them out? Text, anyone want to send in them over text message?
Where to send it?
What's that?
Does anyone know where to send it?
Yeah, it's right up here on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Keyword 222333.
We have a
Hey,
question
Steve.
over here.
Steve, you have a question?
Yeah, question.
Yeah, just I read my own program with our company. Just a couple of us. We have affiliates that are starting to grow now with our program. I was wondering, what is the one thing that the panelists could suggest to someone smaller like us, we're not a large company, that we could do to really make our affiliate program work well?
You're looking for kind of that one golden nugget tip, if you will.
Yeah,
So Chris, you got one?
Well, yeah. I mean, when we look back at our program 2.5 years ago, I would say we were not in communication with the publishers and giving them what our needs were, and then hearing what their needs were. And I think that has been a tremendous change in how we've operated the program. We've been really involved with the publishers, and then the other one has been communication there externally with the publishers and CJ, but also communication internally. And with you guys being a much smaller organization, I'm sure a lot of people are educated on it, but in an organization of ours where there's 9,000 people, it's quite a task to educate certain people within the company on all the different lines of business. So that's been another area where we've spent a lot of time on, is making sure that internally we're educated.
Push communications or pull communications with your publishers?
Doing both.
So sending out emails and then setting up conferences.
Oh, yeah.
And Nicole, you got a golden nugget there? One thing that you can suggest? He's running a great program now. He just wants to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, I would agree that communication is definitely key, and with a lot of our mid-tier or lower-tier affiliates that don't have the volume there right now, there's a lot of opportunity to brainstorm and discuss. There's also often a lot more opportunity to do some more like custom communications or custom content or things that we can't do on larger sites, so I think there's definitely opportunity there if you take the time to communicate and brainstorm together.
Great. Darcy?
I would just, it would have to be communication also. And I wouldn't just say random communication. I would definitely say the reoccurrence of communication, the bi-weekly or the monthly regular calls, so that you stay top of mind to them, just that monthly touch point where they know they can count on speaking to you, and when you do get on the phone, I think one thing that, sometimes people forget to talk about is when you talk, always kind of have an agenda. I mean, that's one thing I think a lot of people forget when you get on the phone with people. Make goals. If you have metrics, like I give goals to my top 15, I don't mean top. I have a list of 15 people that I like to focus on for the year. But make goals for them and say, hey, you know, they don't have to be metric goals if you're smaller, but say, hey, these are the couple things I want out of, you know, not to that, like, you know, we want to get out of our relationship over the next month. Let's work on this, you know. And then also update them on what's going on in your business too. Don't forget to do that, you know. Don't just make sure that you talk about what's going on with them. You know, tell them the exciting things that's going on in your company.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you think about communications. One thing that Chris brought up was both internally and externally. I talked to a small advertiser at one point, and they were having big trouble with their affiliate program. It just wasn't kind of working within the company. And it turns out when the discussion went further and further, the CFO was just not behind it. It was a small company. It was 20, 50 people, which is not tiny, but the CFO just wasn't behind it. So I suggested to the advertiser to go back and show the CFO how it works. Show him that we only pay when somebody buys something. It's tracked through this independent party. We get to determine what % we're going to pay. And it turned out to fix the problem within that company. It was really just a matter of educating one of the executives in the company about how the channel worked. Not sure that's always going to work, but depending on your circumstance, sometimes it really is just a matter of kind of teaching the rest of the company kind of what is very obvious to you if you're in the channel. Great question. Other questions? Yeah, over here.
Yeah, in the same vein as that, we're a small company. We've been doing affiliate programs for about a year now. Just recently started growing. We're mostly working with sort of the medium, this first slide, the medium networks out there. Do you have thoughts on how to open those channels of communications with affiliates? Our biggest problem is we'd love to be talking to some of our top affiliates and helping them do better and asking what we can do better. But we have trouble getting a hold of them. Some of them actively avoid talking to us.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what the type of thing is you're promoting? You don't have to give away too much if you don't want.
We sell a software program that organizes your iTunes music.
Software program to organize your iTunes music. Okay.
It's a download, so we pay it, and then customers purchase it, so we pay commission on that sale.
And you're trying to figure out how to get your top affiliates to kind of talk to you. Yeah. Any experience in that? Anyone from the panel want to?
Since I'm Sears, I kind of get bombarded. So I kind of have the opposite effect where I almost want to push people away sometimes. But it's really, honestly, what I've actually done, and, I have, some friends that have done startups, and they're like, they're avoiding me, can you please, I know you talked to so-and-so, can you please have them, I've been emailing them, they won't, return my email or etc. But I would definitely, if you know someone that, knows that publisher, or that publisher is here, I would definitely try to meet with them, or if you know someone that actually knows them, I would actually just go to that other person or a friend or an acquaintance and say, can you please set up 15 minutes? This is a friend of mine. I would love to have them, have you meet with them. This is what their product is. This is what they're promoting. This is what their site's about. And or when you have functions like this, you see them walking around, or have someone introduce you if you haven't met face to face yet. I don't know if you've tried those tactics already, but
well, we're here, so that's
that's
our first step.
It's a good step.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
Other questions? Over here.
I have a best practices question. It seems like these days all the top publishers, they want higher commission rates, custom coupons, paid placements. How do you internally decide when to give them that?
So real quick answer for each of you. Chris?
Yeah, so you are correct on that. We do hear that a lot, and so we kind of have little metrics that we go through, and we weigh the relationship that we have, what the value is, what products they typically sell, whether it's air, is it hotel, is it packaging. And then based upon about 4 or 5 different criteria is how we decide if we're going to increase commissions with somebody, if we're going to give someone an inclusive, or if we'll give them an exclusive coupon.
Nicole?
Same thing. It's really metric based, unless there's some strategic priority, like if we're launching a new product or something like that, where we're kind of go off the board a little bit. It's very cut and dry based on metrics.
And what about you, Darcy?
Again, I have finance and analytics to get through, so if they can get through that, then they deserve it. And as far as exclusive coupons or like vanity codes or anything like that, it's just me running the Sears program with my counterpart Steve Mans, who helps me out. So just being one person on such a large program, I mean, you definitely just have to say no sometimes because you yourself can only handle so much.
Other questions? Here?
I believe it was Darcy. You mentioned that you are running in multiple affiliate networks. What are some of the advantages that you've had with that? And what are some of the disadvantages? Would you recommend it?
So actually, it's another counterpart of mine that runs on the CJ platform, and I will say it is nice to kind of have her. She sits next to me one day a week, and we sit together and we work together on, plus and minuses that we're both having in our programs, and I get to see what her reporting looks like. What I can say to her, well, why can't you just pull this? And she's like, I don't have that on my on my platform. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we get to see, this is just something, they've only been on it's actually Sears Parts Direct that's on the CJ platform. They're the only ones. But we get to just see what are the pros and cons. And the rest of our business is just, Sears and Kmart have actually been with Performix/Google for 6 years now. So we've never been with anyone else, but it's nice for us to actually see what's available on the CJ platform with actually not making that switch.
Other questions? Yeah, over here.
Yeah, right. My question is about targets. So all three of you work with big organisations. You've got very good performing programs. How do you actually benchmark performance? Are targets set from up high, i.e. senior execs that trickle down information to you? Do you have to align your performance based on the company's overall forecasting strategy, or are you autonomous in actually putting those figures together?
So the questions about targets, really, I think that translates into forecasts. So how are the forecasts kind of getting sent internally? Chris?
So I would actually say it's probably a combination of the three things you mentioned there. I hate to say that, but it is. We do act kind of autonomous, but at the same time we do have things that are pushed down. Actually, surprisingly, within the affiliate channel, travel has grown tremendously for us in the last 2 years. So we're continuously reforecasting the channel because it's doing much better than what we've expected over the last couple of years. And back to the comments over the budgets, we really don't operate within those constraints as long as it hits certain metrics and everything.
Nicole?
My team really is responsible for the forecasting and then kind of selling it up, since we're the experts in the channel and know what products or what areas we're going to be focusing on. So that's how it works. Dynamics.
I feel like I never have a short answer. So we actually build from top down. So I actually have 16 plans for all my business units. So right now, for instance, I'm building for all of the business units for appliances and tools, home, blah, 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 and keep going. So I build 16 different plans for them, and then that kind of builds my overall plan, and then we kind of tweak from there. Does that help?
Yeah, I suppose just on the back of that, because generally organisations, as you know, in this industry, that they don't have to understand the affiliate channel. So from their point of view, it's very hard for them to see the value, number one, and number two, to actually see the incremental growth that you make year on year. So I suppose it's a bit of a loaded question, but do you feel like you're really pushing your programs as much as possible based on that? Or can you a little bit be under the radar because the organisation doesn't fully grasp the whole industry?
So
Makes sense?
They push me full throttle.
I think in our case, it may be a tad bit different. We've actually, I don't know if it's good or bad, but we've gotten quite a bit of exposure within the company, again, over the last 2 years, because the affiliate channel has grown so much, and probably a little bit more than other parts of the company. And so it's good and bad.
Other questions? I'm going to try to find one all the way in the back.
You mentioned that you have a large number of affiliates, so 6,000 and 10,000.
Did you say deactivating? Activating. So a lot of these programs have been around for a while, but generally, I guess the question is, kind of how do the process you go through for approving new affiliates. And I'll add to that the deactivating them as well. There's a fairly big program that recently kind of deactivated all the affiliates that hadn't been active in like 90 days, hadn't shown a transaction or something. And there was all sorts of questions about, kind of the why of that. And I'm curious from each of you, kind of the whole question of activating and deactivating and kind of how that works within your organization. Why don't we start with Nicole, because you've got kind of the smallest program because of all sorts of external issues. How does that work within American Express?
So recruiting new sites comes from internal and external areas, and we're really working internally to figure out certain sets of criteria for how we evaluate sites. It really falls on my team and our respective business units to collectively look at the sites and work with finance and risk to decide if there's sites that would work well for our program.
And then how does the actual process work? Do you individually approve new folks?
Yes.
Or you individually? So you actually
Yes.
you go look at their
we
website?
Actually review the sites. It's a manual process,
Yeah.
yes.
And you've got less. What about you, Darcy? How does that work for Sears?
Yeah, so we have like I mentioned, our recruitment and optimization manager on the Google side of the team. So she does a lot of right now, recruiting out for us and looking at the sites and sending them to us to review and approve. So that's kind of the process we're at right now. Other than that, we were on auto approve process before that for many years prior to getting on Sears.com.
And Chris?
Our program resembles probably Sears. A few years ago, ours was an auto approve, and a couple years ago we changed that to where we actually do individually look at every site now when they come in and approve more, decline them.
Yeah. Other questions? Let's just see if there's any new questions here.
Hi, I'm Marcus. I'm working at an agency in Germany, and in Germany more and more advertisers merchants track all touch points to the same. You also track all touch points on display, search, affiliate marketing.
So the questions around, I think that's largely be called attribution. Are your companies tracking the different attribution points in terms of search and display and email? And how does that then affect kind of the affiliate channel? Darcy?
Each one of we actually also track through Omniture. So each one of our affiliates is given a unique ID, which we call a SID code, and Google actually takes each one of these SID codes and also tracks it for us. So we do track for each touch point, so yes.
Chris?
Same thing, just like Sears, we track it all the way through.
Nicole?
Same thing with Amex, and we're actually going in attribution analysis. We've been conducting it for the past few months. So.
And this is not appropriate necessarily for this panel. There could be a whole kind of series of panels on attribution. In fact, I'd encourage folks who are interested in it. There has not been. It's been suggested as a panel at others, and it hasn't made the list of panels that get covered. I don't want to get into a long discussion here, but if people are interested in it, make sure to separately send in an email to the folks at Affiliate Summit. Other questions? Yeah, here.
Yes, speaking of search, do any of you let your affiliates bid on brand keywords?
So the question is, do any of the panelists let affiliates bid on brand keywords in terms of search? We'll start with Chris.
Actually, we do. We do that, and we kind of look at it more from a block and tackle, I guess you could say, type of strategy. And we figure that, as long as they're not bidding above us and below us, then we're okay with that. And there's been a lot of, I'll tell you that we've had a lot of analysis with that over the course of the last couple of years. And there's different arguments for both good and bad, but from the financial aspect from it, at the end of the day, it's valuable for our company, and so we'll continue down that route.
Nicole?
Same sentiments as Chris. We do, and there is a lot of internal debate upon the value of doing that, but yes, we do.
And you actually, in both these companies, track and analyze and determine that they actually make more money as a company. The biggest challenge of that comes in when generally when search and affiliate are in different silos within an organization, and search revenue might go down, but overall company revenue or ROI might go up, and that's usually where we see the biggest challenge on it. Darcy, did you want to add anything to that?
No, we don't. It is a huge argument at my company. We've gotten into like 2-hour meetings where it's like a battle because I wanted to test at least just small test. We actually do have a test going on right now. It's been running for 2 weeks, but it was honestly a struggle to get the test allowed. We use Brand Verity. If anyone's familiar with Brand Verity, it's a tool that runs a certain number of keywords 12 times a day, and we send out violations to all our affiliates every Wednesday. And even if it was like a negative, you just didn't even put Sears as a negative, or like put us as a negative. We are very, very touchy about our search program.
Great. Other questions? Yeah, all the way in the back. Yeah, you. Not quite up.
If you could each speak briefly to what you're doing with your international affiliate.
So the question was about international. We actually talked about this a bit at lunch. I think I'll answer this so we can get on to another question, because the folks here are just managing their North American programs, even though their companies all have an international presence. Is that accurate? Yeah, so generally speaking, the big companies often either have a subsidiary internationally or what. One thing that we are seeing is a big growth in the international segment. Affiliate seems to be growing more and more internationally. In fact, another topic I would encourage folks to kind of submit to the Affiliate Summit crew is kind of get some more sessions on international. Other questions? Yeah, right here.
This question is mostly for Nicole. Since you can't really offer like coupons or exclusive codes or anything like that, what other alternatives do you explore to kind of motivate affiliates to promote your brand?
Well, we're constantly making. Sorry, there's a big number in my face. We're constantly working with our product teams and our risk teams and our finance teams to make sure that if we can have an offer, if we can have like a limited time offer to the right audience on the right site, that we can do that. So that's one way. Does that answer your question?
Well, I was more asking about things other than offers.
So
Such as?
You mean what do you do to work with affiliates other than coupons?
I'm not sure. If an advertiser can't really have a discount or an offer, what else can you do to motivate affiliates to promote your brand?
Yeah, so as a publisher, I'll tell you what we like. I mean, one is deals, right, which is similar, but the other is just good old-fashioned information and communication. We worked with a retailer once upon a time. We still work with them, but they gave us their top 10 list. Here's the 10 products that we sell the most of, right? They didn't tell us how many units. It wasn't necessarily anything that sensitive, but we were able to then focus our efforts on what sells, because we can't possibly, as affiliates, become experts in every market segment. We might pretend we are when we're on the phone with you, but we can't become experts in every market segment. So I think that's probably, if you're in a business that's not promotional at all, then help the affiliate by telling them what they should promote, how they should promote it, give them better copy, and go from there. All right, we're running out of time. Any last quick questions? Yeah, right here.
Have you guys done any kind of analysis on the affiliate programs and what percentage of your orders or leads are assisted by marketing channels?
Assisted by affiliate, is that the question? Or?
No, so whatever leads or sales that you receive from your affiliate program, what percentage of those are assisted by other marketing?
Assisted by other channels? Yeah, so the question is, have you looked at the affiliate channel in terms of how many of those sales are assisted by other channels? Anyone, Darcy?
So we haven't done any deep analysis on it, but we know that email drives a lot of our sales. We see an influx in sales when they drop an email. Obviously, when they put a coupon code in there, then that code just, we actually well, we can do an analysis on the coupon code and how many sales revenue that coupon code drove and break it down by marketing channel. And sometimes the affiliate channel will drive more sales from that coupon code than email sent out than email itself. So yeah, email definitely helps drive an influx in sales for us.
Nicole?
I'm not sure if I think it goes back to the attribution analysis that we're doing, so
you're looking at a lot of that now.
Looking into it.
And what about Chris?
Yeah, very similar to American Express. We're going through a lot of those analysis actually now as well.
So quick reminder, and I'll take one last question, and then the panelists will stick around for a few minutes. Please fill out your survey forms about the panel. Missy and Sean read every single one, and we get copies of them as well. It helps the Affiliate Summit create great content for future sessions. So make sure, fill them out for all the sessions you go to. They appreciate it. Any last questions? I actually think we covered everybody's whose hand went up. So quick thank you to the panel, and thanks to the audience.